everyone, and welcome to Spiritual Guidance for Daily Living. My name is Carolyn McGee, and I am your host. We love to talk about all things spiritual, and today I have a special guest, Sabrina Dawn.
Hello.
And we are going to be talking about two of my favorite archangels, and they are very special for this season that we're going into of the holidays. So welcome again. It's always so fun to have you here.
Yes, thank you for having me again.
You're
I
welcome.
always love coming. I love connecting to the angels with you and sharing our experiences and seeing how much they actually correlate.
That's right. They
yeah,
mesh in
yeah.
really well. So for people who don't know you, why don't you introduce yourself?
Okay, I'm Sabrina. I do readings. I do Akashic Records readings and angel readings, but I also run a meditation group and teach Akashic Records classes and angel classes out of Ashland in Uxbridge.
Wonderful.
Yes.
So wonderful to have you here.
Thank you.
Great. So you want to introduce our guests
So
or our teammates?
Our peeps.
Our peeps, exactly.
So this is Archangel Michael, and this is Archangel Gabriel. And then we also have a card here, oracle cards that match the archangel. So this is Michael, and this is Gabriel.
Great. So Michael was one of the very first angels that came to me when I started working with them. And I was fearful. So no surprise that he's the one that
Yeah, that's
shows.
true.
Yeah, because I was afraid. I had been taught that, the only path to God was through religion.
Right.
And when I started expanding my awareness and my ability to connect directly to God, to feel the energy, to feel the messages coming to me, I was afraid. I had what they call Catholic guilt because I was breaking the rules. But his solid presence, one of the things that Archangel Michael is known for is he is the protector. He is known as the right hand of God, and he does protect. And I could just feel the solidity of his energy
Absolutely.
and the strength and the courage to open up my own heart and I guess believe my own truth.
Right.
Step into my own power.
Yeah, and be able to express it authentically. Absolutely.
Yeah.
My experience, I'm not sure if he was the first archangel that came to me, but it makes a lot of sense too because I always associate him with something called the root chakra. So there's energy spots on the body, and the root chakra is the one that's associated with our connection to the earth. So so I always associate him like very grounded. And so
Yeah.
it makes sense that he would come to somebody that's, fearful and just opening up to their true essence in this
Right.
other way, because he's really connecting to that's like that earth, that fear is like an earthbound fear.
It is, and it's
So,
tribal.
yes,
So one
yes.
of the other things with the root chakra, which starts right around your hips and goes all the way down to below your feet. That's where the energy center is it's your tribal energy. It's where you are, the family of origin, the rules, the constructs that
Yes.
we are born into. And so, as you're moving and evolving the energy out of that area, you need to have strength because fear is one of the big challenges to overcome.
And when you're fearful, that protection, like you said earlier. So he comes to me beautifully with this cobalt blue light, which, and his sword is always, I call it the sword of truth and compassion, because that's what it is for me, so it's less of a weapon of violence, it's more of a weapon of truth. So in changing the definition a little bit of what weapon means.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I always see it as like
Yeah.
the sword of knowledge or the sword of light. So it's cutting away.
Yes.
If I want to release an attachment to a person, place, a thing, event, whatever it is, I will call in on his energy to help me move through that.
Yes.
It's very powerful.
And so the sword glows gold for me.
Oh,
A
beautiful.
beautiful gold. And so his colors are really, for me, the beautiful cobalt blue, like similar to the, and that golden color that's so associated with higher vibration,
Yep.
higher energy, higher truth. So, but he's the same thing. I find him to be great with protection, strength. To me, he's a very healthy masculinity. Okay, he's like that representation of that beautiful masculinity that the world is trying to evolve to.
Right. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and then I also find him too, also for life purpose, that he really helps you move forward in your life's purpose and stay on that track. So if you're starting to veer off a little bit, he kind of throws some signs in the forms of numbers and feathers, and I think we've talked about signs on the show before, little phrases or his color in some way to kind of bring you back to your purpose so that you can feel safe there.
Yes.
So you can feel strong there. And also, I cut at something called energy cords with him. So we won't get too deep into that today, but yes, so and that's just to have healthy relationships and help healthy relationships with all things and people. So that's that's what I use this sword for.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yes.
And for people who have any kind of a religious background, Saint Michael is also, he's also known as that. He's known as the right hand of God, and he will show up in a lot of like the Old Testament as the avenging angel, the angel of God, who the demon slayer. So that is kind of his archetypal energy in the traditional religious texts. He will be there to protect the right, protect the weak, the innocent, which really fits in with that lower energy root chakra, because that's, the area of we're innocent and we're trying to return to that energy.
Right, exactly. So like, he wants to protect the innocent and all of that, and I fully 100% agree, but he's also there to protect that part of ourselves as well.
Yes.
And that's why it's great to call on him. And remember that the archangels and all angels like to be invited in because they don't want to impede on your free will. So, when you call on him, he's there to protect others as well as so I send them to my children a lot. I've talked about that on another episode. I send them to people I love all the time for protection. Then it helps me know and feel more secure in that mommy fear is what I call it.
Which we all have.
To just like bring in and nurture and just protect. I know if I send him, they're good.
That they're good. Yes.
And I also grew up Catholic. And had a very different relationship with it, but yes, so seeing his picture depicted all over the place, and it was always very comforting, even with the little demon on there. For some reason, like I never saw that till I was an adult. It's not on this here, but
right.
How he's depicted in a lot of
there are a lot of religious statues.
Yeah.
He is depicted with that. Yes, absolutely. And he's really, because of the protector energy, he's also, the archangel associated with law enforcement, police officers, the military. There's a friend of my son's went into the Marines, and I bought him a necklace that had Archangel Michael on it for protection, because it's his energy. He is, not only is he the warrior and the protector, he's also the protector of those who protect and serve.
Absolutely.
Which I think it's really important to know that, because it's such a needed energy, and to know that the protectors have a protector.
I fully agree. My son wants to be a cop, so he's looking into law enforcement, and I've already thought when he graduates, his gift, or one of them, is going to be the Archangel Michael medallion, because I fully agree. They serve a special purpose. They are our earth angels.
They really are earth angels, yes.
And our firemen and paramedics as well. I consider all of them our earth, our earth angels. Yeah.
Yep. So it's very needed.
I fully agree.
Yeah. So this beauty over here, Archangel Gabriel, as you were talking earlier, you mentioned, the divine masculine. You didn't call it that, but that masculine energy. And we each have a masculine energy and a feminine energy. It's a part of our essence. The masculine is more the producing side, that strength side. The feminine is the nurturing side, the communication, the softer, creativity,
making the world beautiful, relating.
Yes. Yeah. So we, and as humans, we kind of ebb and flow between that. Now, the angels really do not have, they're not male or female, but they will exhibit certain characteristics more. So for me, Archangel Gabriel is more the divine feminine energy, which is why she shows up for me as a female energy versus the more masculine energy of Michael. Is that the way you experience?
No, but I do teach the same thing in my classes and stuff, that the angels are androgynous.
Yes.
But they do tend to represent. But what I do teach about Archangel Gabriel is that Archangel Gabriel will show up for what you need. And so I mostly see him as a him. I'll just say that, even though, because that's the way I experience him.
Yeah.
But if I'm doing a reading for someone that, feels a more feminine connection with him, then he'll come in as more feminine. My father sees her as well.
Yep.
So it's interesting, but I do get more of a masculine energy from him, from my own personal practice.
Right. That's great.
Yeah.
It's so interesting, because there's very few that I really see and feel as more the divine feminine aspects of them. And it was really interesting, because when I first started working with the archangels, she was the one that I had the hardest time with, because I had spent 20 years in corporate. I had, I own a pet care business. I have all of this very grounded earth masculine energy, and for me to open up into that divine feminine energy.
Well, it explains why she comes in.
Oh, yes, she does, and she
sure.
really gave me a hard time, too.
So
lovingly, but a hard time nonetheless.
I didn't feel a strong connection to him until a few years ago, when he started coming to me, and he started coming to me with a blue energy, a softer blue, not a cobalt blue.
Yeah.
And that resonated with what we talked about, the throat chakras,
With the
for communication. So communication with others, communication with them, and communication, and Gabriel is saying this all the time, with ourselves.
So important.
So with ourselves, and the things we tell ourselves, the old scripts, the negatives, all of that, and he just invites us to call him in to help us with the self-talk, so we could have healthier communication with ourselves, so we can then have healthier communication with others.
It's so important.
And then there's just one more thing, sorry. So
Yeah.
and then the other color that he started, all of a sudden, I started seeing in the meditation group I run, like when I would call him in, he started coming in as orange.
I see him as orange and pink.
Yes.
Well, her.
Yes.
'Cause I'm like, now I'm taking off your lead.
I know,
Yes,
I was
exactly.
having a hard time. I almost called it, yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's fun.
It is fun.
And it
but
doesn't matter, truly.
It truly doesn't
No.
matter, and it's individualized.
Yes.
That's the thing that's so important to remember anytime you're working
Yes.
with the divine realm, is that it's going to be personalized to
Yes.
you. It's going to show up the way you need to see it. Just like, Gabriel to me has that feminine, because that's really what I needed. I needed to reconnect to that
Yes.
creative, softer side of me.
Yes.
And she was instrumental in helping me to do that. And I did not resonate with the color orange at all. I had such a difficult time with it. So here she's showing up as orange in the divine feminine, and I'm like, really?
Yeah.
But it was really what I needed.
Yes.
So I'm so grateful to.
Absolutely. And I just want to touch on the thing is like, so, and I know that you think this way too, so, but, so I'm just going to speak for both of us on this.
Yeah.
Neither one of us would tell each other that their experience is wrong, nor would we
Right.
think it. We might go, oh, that's interesting. I don't experience it that way. I wonder if I could. I wonder, like what's different here, and try to explore it that way, but not that our experiences are wrong,
Right.
Or bad or evil, or, something else is going on. It's like, oh, interesting. Somebody else is having a different experience. What can I learn from this? So
Yeah, it's kind of more of an expansion of
Yes.
awareness and possibilities instead of a definition or
Yes.
a boundary around it.
yes.
Yeah.
So the orange part, he told me, is that, resonates to the second chakra, which is about an inch below the belly button. It's a little different for everybody. And that is an orange color. So what's there is your emotions, your creativity, and your sexuality. So he was really coming in, so depends on who's in the room, and it depends what I'm going through and what I need him for. That's where he brings in more of that feminine energy and really works with all of that, right? That relating, the relationships, the creativity, the emotions, being comfortable in our emotional body. That's the divine feminine within each and every single one of us. So he started working like that with me. And then he pointed out, by letting me read a certain paragraph in a book, all of a sudden, I didn't read the whole book, that really talked about how the jawbone, which is right where the throat chakra is, which is the blue, which is, communication, which is outward, which is more masculine. And then the feminine, which is all of what we just described, which is the second chakra down here, how it's similar to the hip bones. How this is like, it's similar to the hip bones.
So interesting.
So if you flip the jaw around. And so how they're actually really connected, in that we need the yin-yang balance of the two, the masculine, the feminine, the emotions, the strength to go out there and, the authenticity to get out there and express it, with that creativity, the emotions, and coming from all of that. And it's just really been beautiful to work with him in that way and figure that out. So often he'll come in as a different color, but by the end, if I'm done working with him, he's holding orange and blue, the blue that I see him in, which is a softer blue, not pale blue, but softer, a yin and yang, a yin yang.
That is so awesome. And if you look on a color wheel, blue and orange are on the opposite sides, so they're colors of balance too.
Oh, look at that.
I know. Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah.
And if you think about, and that's fascinating with the jaw and the hip, but those two areas really are the areas that you balance.
Yes.
You do want, and I always look at it as you're washing your creativity, your thoughts, your ideas through your heart to express them, with authenticity and with vulnerability too, because sometimes we need to do that. We need to open ourselves up to a difficult truth, because it's the truth.
Yes, difficult or not, yes.
Difficult or not, it's still the truth. And,
Absolutely.
that's really a big part of being on a spiritual path. It's one of my big passions when I'm teaching and when I'm coaching, is to get people to feel safe enough in their bodies, thank you, Archangel Michael, to express themselves. And, to lean on their angelic team, their own angelic team, so that they can feel their truth in their bodies, and then wash it through their hearts, so that they know that whatever they're delivering out is loving and kind.
Yes.
But it's the truth. The root of all illness is that we hold in our truth.
Yeah, that's true.
We're not expressing it.
Yes.
And, using the angel team that we all have can help us do that when we know it's the right thing, even if it's painful for us and for others.
No, that's very true. That's true. And to express it in the way that's best for the situation.
Yes.
That's what I really like Gabriel for that communication piece. I also
Yes.
work with Jesus, and I call in Jesus for that piece too. Is just, help me have that unconditional love that he holds, and the grace to be able to express myself with kindness. I'm human.
We all are.
I'm human, and I definitely, can't practice that 100% of the time, but I always go back and how can I do this differently?
Yeah.
And please help me learn the lesson so that I can be kinder next time.
And quickly learn the lessons.
Quickly, yes, please.
And completely, so we don't need to go through it again. I've had a few that took me a couple of rounds before I got the whole answer. Oh, boy.
And then finally they start beating you over the head with it. I'm kidding. Yeah.
No, but sometimes the second and third lessons are a little bit harder because I didn't pay attention the first time.
When you think of, there's a tarot card called the Tower card, and I always think of the Tower card as those moments. It's like when, the angels, the universe, the divine love, oh God, always, sends us this lesson so that we can learn it. And when we don't learn it, we ignore it, or whatever, right? Stumble our way through it, or just completely ignore it.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
Yeah, it's like that. that tower moment, what I call it, comes in and says, okay, we've sent you this lesson 2 times. Now something bigger has to happen. Now
We've
that's
got
not
to
that's
get
not
your
all hard
attention.
things. This is just
No.
talking about lessons in general.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just like that. It's like it's really time to learn this. We've already tried to work with you with this a bunch. It's time for you to get real with yourself. Because
Yes.
you're asking us for this.
Right. Yes,
Yes.
and it's usually the ones that it's those prayers that we send out.
Yes.
I always say that, prayers are asking and meditation is receiving. So we are sending out these prayers, but we're not paying attention to the answers. Meditation doesn't have to be sitting. It can be just opening your mind up to hear the voices of your angels
Yes.
and that divine guidance that is all around us. But if we are putting our blinders up and not wanting to see the information that's coming to us, then yeah, they do have to get our attention. And they're going to do it from a space of love. It's
Yes.
always loving, it's always kind. They will give us a person, place, thing, something to help us really see. But sometimes they've got to take that mask off of us. We are human, right? We
Right.
really are. And, we are spiritual beings, but sometimes we, for whatever reason, can't see or won't see.
Right, yes, and when we're doing the affirmations and we're asking for something, whether it be a relationship, friendship, abundance, a new job, whatever it is, they're gonna come in and help us clear, anything that's in the way of us receiving that, because they wanna give us that, but
Right.
we have to work with some of our limitations to clear them so that we can bring that in. And so sometimes they come in the form of lessons and people because we're not listening to the smaller signs like numbers, and because
Yeah.
their voices can be very gentle and very
They
quiet.
Well, they are, yes. Yeah, they're not going to yell unless they absolutely have to.
It's true.
It is true.
It is true.
They're kind, they're loving, they're very soft. Even Michael, I experience him as such a strong energy, but
I do too.
he's soft with his demeanor and his energy and his messages and his directions.
Yes. And I think that's the truth part. Because the
Yes,
truth is soft.
the truth is soft.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, truth with a capital T.
Yes.
Yes, truth, that's the kind of truth that we're talking about. Sometimes the truth that needs to come out needs to be as honest and blunt, as it's right for the situation.
Yeah.
Like, please don't put your hands on me. You're not gonna,
Right.
or
There's-
if you need to be firm, like.
Yeah, if there's a line
Yes.
that needs to be clearly drawn or,
Yes.
something like that, then yeah, you do need to,
Muster up some,
you need to drop into that
Yeah.
more divine masculine
Yes.
energy and stand in your power.
yeah, for
And,
sure.
I have found when I need to do things like that, it's actually better for me to be standing,
Oh, yes, that's true.
because I'm more grounded. I can feel my connection to the earth more, and it's just more, I have more power to deliver a message that needs to have a strong boundary associated to it. A lot of times in business, you just need to do that.
Yes, that's true.
Whether it's a client or an employee, it really doesn't matter. Sometimes you've got to be very firm and set that really deep boundary.
Yes, structure is
Mm-hmm.
important, and then people are human, so they like to walk all over
Well, they'd like to test.
that structure, yes.
Yeah. And boundaries is one of my life lessons. So I get to constantly reaffirm them. It's pretty awesome.
I'm still working with Michael on learning healthy boundaries and in certain relationships and in other areas as well. Yeah.
Good. Well, this has been so fun. Let's do a quick closing meditation.
Okay.
We've got about 5 minutes to do this and enjoy it. So I will start. If it is safe for you to close your eyes and put your feet on the ground, please do so. And take in a deep black breath and release it. And one more in. And a third. And invoking Archangel Michael and Archangel Gabriel to stand with us, feeling their very different energy, both powerful in their own way. sensing to you how their energy is unique. Do they stand on your right or your left, front or back? Do you see a color associated with them? Or is it just a feeling? Ask them now how they can help you. We do have free will and we do need to invite. So extend that invitation with a loving heart to experience for your highest good, with ease and grace, the loving support of these divine beings. Do you have something to add?
Archangel Michael is stepping forward, and he's just surrounding you with this beautiful light, helping you feel strong and protected, and helping you move forward on your path, whatever that may be, whatever's coming to your mind right now. And he's clearing your energy field, the space all around you and within you, letting you know that you are loved and supported. And Gabriel steps forward, a beautiful polarity of masculine and feminine energy, helping you not only walk the path, but express it out into the world. And I invite you to take a moment and realize, does Gabriel in this moment feel more like a feminine hug or a masculine arm wrapped around your shoulder in support? And just know that whatever you felt, just trust it. And Gabriel may come to you at another time, showing up with a different energy. It may be more that beautiful hug versus the arm around the shoulder. Either way, they are both here with your invitation to help you create grace in your life during the holidays and 2020. Michael's saying 2020 is 2020. This is a year for looking through your eyes and seeing. And he's here to help you with that as well, to see truth. And Gabriel would like to help you speak truth.
Beautiful. Thank you. Well, thank you all for joining us. You can find us on Facebook, Spiritual Guidance for Daily Living. We've got the old episodes there, and we'd love to connect and answer questions if you've got any.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much for joining us.
All right. Thank you.
Hi. Bye-bye for now.
All right. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.